Yeah, just quickly to add on, just want to compliment Kwesi and his staff that he mentioned, their process, what they go about doing on a daily basis, to constantly be looking to help our football team go win games, and feel incredibly fortunate to work alongside him, and just the process that led into us making this move, and then how he went about doing it. Cannot say enough about positive things about this past few days, and on to TJ. I think one of the telling things when you make a move like this is obviously our offensive coaches and myself have a strong evaluation of TJ, but it was the defensive coaches coming to me as excited as anything, having just had to defend and put together a game plan for a player like TJ, when we played the Lions a few weeks back, and they were more excited than anybody to get him on our roster and know what he can do for us. In regards to Irv, I have had a lot of dialogue with him, trying to make sure we handle his injury the right way so that he's able to come back and join us and help us win football games when he's healthy, and want him to make sure that we're behind him 1,000% to do what he thinks is best for him injury-wise, and then get right back in this building and get to work rehabbing. And he's certainly a player, like Kwesi said. We had a lot of discussion about just his ascension, not only in our offense, but how he's kind of handled everything since we got here. So hoping to get Irv back as healthy as soon as possible. And going on the road this week, Commanders team that's won 3 in a row, it's going to be a heck of a challenge for us. Defensively, they present a ton of challenges, and obviously Taylor has this offense rolling, and have a lot of respect for Terry McLaurin and some of their other skill players, and Scott Turner does a really good job with that offense, causing you some schematic problems as well. So got to have a great couple days of practice, getting ready to go on the road and hopefully get our 7th win.
Okay, what is it about Taylor that he can look so bad, but he ends up turning around within a game and winning a game?
I just think he's an incredibly smart player, scrappy, tough. He's willing to stand in that pocket in the face of rush and keep his eyes downfield and find the open man. He can create off schedule. He's going to try to make not only the right play, but he's going to try to situationally make the play he has to make, whether it's with his legs, whether it's off schedule, whether it's checking them into a run versus a premier look. You can tell he's incredibly prepared. They've got him well coached to run the offense the way they see it being successful with their personnel, and they have some really good players around him that I think cause you a lot of problems for sure.
Kirk is 6-1. His statistics are not necessarily spectacular compared to his other career statistics. How much of the winning is due to his play, and how much does all that just speak to the situational nature of football?
I think that last part's huge. When you do have leads in football games, or you're trying to protect leads, in some ways, sometimes there's not going to be those 7 or 8, 9 in a row opportunities to throw the ball late in the game, and statistically be in a place where maybe you didn't win the game, but you feel great about the statistics. I don't really look at those things. All I can tell you is when I evaluated where we're at as an offense on the bye, I think Kirk's playing some really, really good football. I think he's handling our offense at a level that's allowing us to continue to build and continue to challenge our players around him to do things to help put us in successful positions. And it all runs through the quarterback. His understanding of our run game, our pass game, our protections, all of the tools that he has to help us apply pressure to a defense. He's played really well, and I think over the long haul of the season, all those statistical things tend to even out, especially for guys that are playing at a high level, and I expect that to happen for a lot of our players.
What do you think
of? The addition of TJ will help out Kirk Cousins offensively and get to some of those numbers you talked about.
Yeah, I just think, when you look at our offensive skill group, and we've talked a lot, with you guys over the course of the first 7 or 8 weeks of the season, just how we're being defended. We see some new things. We see a lot of tactics to try to limit Justin's impact and Adam's impact and KJ as well as Irv in our back. So just adding a player of TJ's caliber in a moment where we're really kind of coming into our groove, and I see a fit with a lot of the things we try to do, a lot of the things route-wise, schematics, how we run the ball, his fit in, in his role in being a 1 of 11 to help us move the football. Situationally, I see some real opportunities for him, 3rd down, red zone, 2-minute, things like that. it's just a matter of bringing in a player here that we feel has tremendous upside in our offense. We are in the middle of the season, so we're going to try to not try to overload him. But at the same time, he's already proven to be able to handle a lot, and we'll just get him out on the practice field and see what we can have available to us this Sunday.
Kevin, what are your thoughts on Kirk going back to Washington? What kind of reception do you think he'll get? I mean, you obviously have the experience of having been there with him.
Yeah, I don't know if Kirk or myself have really thought much about that, Chris. I think, anytime you go on the road as a 6-1 team in this league, I don't think you can expect an extremely warm welcome. They've won 3 in a row. They're kind of at a critical point in their season. It's a big game for both teams. But Kirk played some great football when he was there, really grew as a player. I'm sure he'll get some cheers as well to go along with maybe the opposite of that.
What do you remember about when you were there and wanting to keep Kirk, I imagine, as a coaching staff, and then the disappointment in him leaving back then?
I think it was an interesting year for me because I kind of came in after he had a really good year. Sean was calling plays for him. And, they had some real success offensively. Then that 2017 year, we faced some adversity, and Kirk was out in front leading us the whole way. Had a really good year, in my opinion, grew as a player. Some moments in that season I think back on that were real defining for him, kind of being ready to make that next step as a quarterback in this league. And it was no surprise when he did come here, the success he's had leading this football team. So I think, Kirk will be the one to answer about the totality of his time there, but I just remember that year with him. I grew as a coach because of him, because of his play. He challenged me as a coach, and I felt like that was the start of what's really made a special relationship here and made me that excited to come to work every day as I get to work with him and be around him, kind of putting this offense together side by side with him.
Talk about marrying the run and the pass. How much is the tight end position kind of at the forefront of that, and how much can a player like TJ help with that?
It's huge. Just with you think about the keeper game, screen game, play pass game. It's running the football in this league a lot of times requires the tight ends to be a part of it, but it also puts them in a position to have multiple roles off of the plays that start out looking the same that are different. For example, if you block a run a certain way and you want to have a play pass off of that, 9 times out of 10, the tight end has to have a real strong hand in blocking in the play pass as well, with maybe a tougher matchup, on the edges with some of these guys that you run into that are just absolute special athletes rushing the passer. So I think he's proven he can handle that workload as well as be a real factor in the pass game. And then I think he's really shown some improvement this year just when I watched him of yards after the catch, which can be a real factor, especially when you're talking about so much coverage being dedicated to Justin and Adam, and people having an awareness of our run game and coming off of a real successful day running the football. No better time than maybe get your tight end activated and heavily involved in coming off of a performance like that.
Might play on Sunday? Will that just be kind of determined by how this week goes?
Yeah, exactly. You'd love to sit here and put a number on it right now, but the beauty is Johnny Munt's coming off of playing a really strong football game, and we have Jacob Hollister and Nick Muse ready to be activated off of our practice squad if we see a role for one of those guys, and then we'll just see how TJ handles it. The good news is it's not one of those situations where he hasn't played or anything like that. He is absolutely game ready. He looks like he's in great shape. Feeling really healthy and ready to roll. He's really excited. It was really fun to make that call yesterday. It's the first time for me really making truly a trade like that where in season, I know we traded for Jalen Reagor as well, but the idea of bringing in a player like TJ, a Pro Bowl caliber player, to a team that is 6-1 right now, and I think his teammates are really excited to have him here. I know we are as a coaching staff, and now he's ready to hit the ground running.
What are your thoughts on Zadarius Smith, NFC
huge.
defensive player, and he's tied for lead league in sacks now as well.
He's had a great year, and everything we hoped for Z and then some. I think you guys saw it last week with that, the versatility of rushing over 4 or 5 different spots. We had a really detailed rush plan that Ed and his staff put together that involves Z getting to the quarterback, but we did not want to allow Kyler to really impact the game, getting out and causing a lot of stress outside the pocket. So to get him on the ground 3 times, that not only speaks to Z, and I think he deserved that award this week. I was really excited for him to win that thing. but it speaks to those other guys. I can think back on a couple of those sacks, DJ Wanham holding the edge and keeping them in there, Harrison Phillips being ready to clean up anything that kind of got out of there. So it was a concerted all-11 effort, and I think that's a real performance our whole defense and especially Zeke can really grow from.
Last two questions. What is your timeline for Irv's return?
We're still in the process of figuring out exactly, is it going to be something that may or may not require a procedure to help heal. We're going to we're getting second opinions and things, just making sure we have all the information for Irv with Tyler and Uriah and our medical team and any other opinions we need to get to make sure that Irv feels comfortable with whatever he decides to do to have the best path forward to hopefully helping us win football games. Like I told him yesterday, he's still a major part in my mind of our offense, and it's an added bonus to now have that kind of depth when Irv returns in our tight end room.
Is it more than
the timetable with Dalvin Tomlinson? Do you have any more information there?
Yeah, he's got. We're really looking at that as week to week. We'll see how he progresses. If he's able to possibly make the trip with us and maybe be a game time decision, I'll update you guys on that. But we want to make sure the type of season he's had and the impact he's had on our team. I want to make sure DT gets back healthy enough to really sustain. Now we're through the bye. We're going to have a 10-game stretch here where hopefully we're fighting to play some extra football, and we want to make sure that we're not pushing him too fast too soon. But he's shown to attack that rehab, and we're certainly not going to stand in the way of him trying to make it this weekend. But we'll update you guys as the week goes on.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.